So let's see if we can have a real football conversation. I hear Miami Hurricanes fans talking about what's wrong with their program. I am a football fan first. And yeah, I love Clemson. I love East Carolina. I love Pitt. Pittsburgh. I said Pitt. Cousin go to Pitt. That's why I said Pitt. Uh, and I'm a history major. What made Miami so great back in the 80s and 90s and 2000s, early 2000s? They were keeping players at home, right? To go to Miami. Everybody knows the stories. Great players. Sandberg came there, put a fence around that area. Guys that played school with, uh, they stayed and they played there and they worked their ass off. They worked year round together. Let me give you an example of why Clemson's program is different than Miami. Clemson is doing the same thing Miami doing, not far as getting players to stay in the state of South Carolina. The Clemson recruits Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Pennsylvania. They're pretty much a national program. And they have to be because South Carolina's a real small state. So they recruit nationally. But what I'm saying is the desire to stay and wait your turn. I give you a perfect example. Uh, Everybody says, well, look at Booth last night. Booth was a 5-star. He was behind Stingley and a kid at Oregon as far as being one of the top DBs. Never got on the field last year. He didn't say, hey, I'm going to leave. And he played in a special teams game against Louisville and punched the dude in the face. I don't know if y'all remember that game, but that's what happened. And he stayed. So Clemson does a good job of getting people. Another example, Carmen Jackson. He didn't play his freshman year that much. He was behind Mitch Hyatt, and and now he's been there for 2 years. Look at Cleveland Farrell. He was a redshirt and stayed off 5 years at Clemson, or 4 years. I guess he got his degree and left after his junior year. But he waited his time. A lot of guys do that. Kevin Murphy for Clemson. Kevin Henry, I apologize. They wait their time. And at one point in time in life, Miami was doing that. Like Andrew Booth got developed. Think about some of the good cornerbacks that Clemson has had in recent memory. Mackenzie Alexander, top corner in the NFL right now. Cordell Tisley, he's in the NFL right now. And they played in front of Ryan Clark, who was a really good corner. Not in the NFL, but he was a really good corner. They developed him, and they made him into a good corner. Then look at last 2 years, Mullen and Terrell. They were good DBs, and they got developed. And they were highly recruited guys. Andrew Booth, highly recruited. Clemson has developed what's my boy that start with a K? Kisdale. Look at him. He's over there. He got developed. And he's a very good player now. He's came in as with a quarterback, then with a wide receiver. Now he's at to be development. And that's one problem that I have seen with Miami. They take transfers from everywhere. They're not developing players of their own. Don't get me wrong. I know they got some real good players that's already been there. But like King, it's like, okay, I took this guy, but for a quick fix. But are you really developing Perry, who's behind him? Um, I'm just saying. Look at Leggett and Galloway. Leggett's in the NFL. I think he still plays for the Jets, but it's development. Galloway wasn't a top 5 player. Development. Bower, this Skowski kid, number 47, he wasn't highly recruited. Spector wasn't either. Chad Smith last year, wrong highly recruited, but they developed those guys and they made the team. Uh, they made the team, and that's what makes Clemson so great. They're able to develop players and mix them up, and that's what something Miami might have done a long time ago. But they now taking people who are transfers that are not willing to sit there and wait. That's why Bowman left. I think Clemson went to him and said, "Hey man, for about a year, once you redshirt and develop yourself, build more muscle, and then you got the next 2 years." And you might have to share some time with somebody, but with the kid that's coming in from Charlotte and Muse and a couple other guys, but we deep at running back. It's Chip back and Seal. He didn't want to do that, and that's why I think the biggest difference between Clemson and Miami really is. I know people say coaching too, but it's true. But y'all have a good night. I'm done with Clemson and Miami. I'm going to be talking about Clemson, Virginia Tech. Clemson and Georgia Tech, I should say. Have a good night.